Hey, Rebels. So you have something very exciting about to happen. I'm hearing, oh, what a good time we could have. You can make it happen again. I do not know what commercial that is, but it's been playing in my head since I've sat down. So first we have here the Archangel Michael card, and it says, honor and trust your feelings. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for supporting, guiding, and protecting me as I listen to and act upon my feelings. Help me understand and express my emotions with love. Hey, let's sit this down here. So, it seems like you're going through awakening after awakening after awakening, and Spirit is telling me that this is more so you realizing and realizing and realizing. Your eyes are opening up to so much that was right there in your face this whole time about yourself, about the world, about people, about your habits, about so much that just has to do with how you have accepted love, appreciation, rejection in your life. So, um, here behind the scenes, we have disclosure, protection, adrift, embrace, commute, center, and fear as the overall energy. Spirit said trust, just trust. And here we have priestess awakening, trusted, single, sexy, and successful, healer, and endings. Spirit said trust that these endings are necessary and that they are intentional, and that there are going to be things that you didn't think that you didn't not like, but that you're going to realize, I've been doing this whole time, not realizing that I've been moving around like a robot. I don't even like this food. I don't even like these type of people. Cognitive thinking has definitely been kicking your ass. You being able to independently think for yourself has been kicking the asses of everything that has been so used to you being around. I'm hearing Tupac, I get around. No, you've gotten around. You've gotten around a lot. And you found yourself around a lot of shit that you just simply don't resonate with anymore. So let's do a couple of these cards here before we proceed forward to do another round of Kipper Fish. So I want you back. So I'm getting this feeling of there the fact that you're able to realize and acknowledge certain things not being for you anymore is making you rather uncomfortable, though you are working on or have reached a place of acceptance of, you know what, it just is what it is. I'd rather be comfortable and not have my nervous system attacking me. And what the fuck else can you really say other than no, no, thank you, or just keep your fucking mouth quiet and just move on about? Because whether you're there or not, yes, there was so many times that you went into a party and the party really seemed to get started once you got there. You walking through that door and you see people standing around, their faces are dull, and then once they see you step over that threshold, honey, the party just began. But now it's a different vibe. They don't even realize whether you're there or not until they run out of punch, until they run out of whatever. That's when they realize that you're not there, and you have come to notice that. So applaud yourself for having this sense of independency that you you are only allowing yourself primarily to be in the spaces that appreciate you, that acknowledge when you're not there, that acknowledge when you are there, that acknowledge the comfort and the respect that you deserve when you step your foot on those premises. All right. So we are okay. So time heals all wound. Time heals all wound and trust. Gold digger. Yeah, time is gonna heal your wounds of you letting go of what things used to be and how things used to be. Time is going to heal all wounds of how things had been designed in your life and where it seemed like you just had to be, not because you wanted to be there, but because you knew that if you weren't there, then how the fuck were they going to survive? That if you weren't there, oh my goodness, things are just going to fall apart. Now, if I'm talking to someone who has their own business and you're going through this, honey, use your discernment. Use your discernment, because I understand being a mother myself, and once your kids get to, it's like once your kids get to a certain age, you know that they can, you know, they can be home by themselves. But those first few times and times after, depending on the season and the reason that you had to leave them at home by themselves once they're of age, you get kind of concerned. Think about how we were when we were kids. Our parents would go to work. Our parents would, be at work while we're at school. And if you had a kid, some of us threw parties instead of being at school. And if you had a parent who went out of town while, or whether it was for a week or the weekend, child, the things that you were able to get away with. So those are the things that are coming up about yourself. Examples like that are coming up about yourself in regards to you leaving the company just functioning without you being there. In regards to you leaving these people who you care about, but you know that you can no longer be around and be about that life that they're about. You're concerned about, hey, how are they ever going to survive without me? And I heard somebody say, I ain't concerned about shit. What's on them is on them. I fully get it. But guess what? You had to get to that place. And you had to realize that it was going to work your nerves, and it was going to keep on pulling you back if you did not just say, you know what, fuck it. What they choose for them is what they choose for them. I gotta be able to take care of me. And you can't take care of you with your body here and your mind over there wondering what the heck is going on, and let me call and let me check, or you know what, did I leave this out for whatever. I was gonna say the dog, but we're not calling them dogs. But if you do have fur babies, yes, fur babies are, they're the exception. Your babies are the exception. But when it comes down to your kids, if you have kids, caution of how much you Spirit wants me to repeat, of how much you coddle the situation. Remember, you gotta give them a little inch. Let them fuck up if they're gonna fuck up. That way you know where to correct them at. It was the same thing with you, but you were so stern in your adolescence and in your immaturity of your 20s or whatever age. You were so stubborn. You were so stern. And I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do regardless. I don't care what type of rules they place in front of me. I'm gonna get stuff done. I'm gonna do things how I enjoy it. And can't nothing stop me. I'll deal with the punishment later. So what happened was with you, and this is why your nervous system is bringing this up. What happened with you is that people stopped hovering over you because you were causing them so much stress. You was causing their mental so much tension that they just had to drop the bag. They just had to leave it. They just had to leave you where you were to allow you to learn your lessons. And you knowing what that did for you has kind of shocked your system, because you don't want those who are in the supporting roles of your business, whether it be money business, whether it be home business, whether it be whatever business that this may be resonating for you with. You don't want them to fuck up your stuff. You don't want them to have to go through the tragedies that you had to work yourself out of because you put yourself through the shit that you put yourself through. But how else would you have learned? How else would you have learned? And the times that they did hover over you, how much more resistant were you? And how much harder did you go? It's like telling someone exactly what you're going to do and them listening to you and them taking account of, okay, so here's a loophole, here's a loophole, here's a loophole. And there's going to be loopholes no matter how tightly and how double knotted you tie those shoelaces. All right? So, Spirit is saying, bag up, release the press, release the pressure, because they have to figure this shit out for themselves, even if it comes at a very minor expense of you. Because if this is a business, you can fire them. You can give them a warning. You can take the proper protocols. If this is a child, you have to understand at some point, and I'm not saying now, depending on their age. Okay, use your cognitive thinking. Um, depending on their age, it is a must for parents to understand that your child is your child so long as they are of a certain age. Let's say safely 21 and under. And for some of you, 18 and under. And some of you got them kids that's 16 and 16 who who got to the point where, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm going to do and you can't stop me. If they feel like they grown, let them go out there and figure it out. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. And if they don't, they are ultimately showing you who they are. You have done the best that you can to the point that you are responsible for. And that's the best that you can allow of acceptance from yourself. Okay? It's a privilege to understand and know I did the best that I could with the time that I had. Okay? So, yeah, it gets expensive. It gets expensive. So don't take your foot all the way off the brake. Make sure that you are paying attention to the separation of things. What would be a liability as far as how you're connected? Not the, oh, my mama or my daddy did this to me, confirmation. My mama, my daddy, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. You did the best that you had with the time that you were allowed. So back to you and back to this message. Spirit said, do not let this affect you and your life experience and what you need to continue to grow to know about yourself. You are definitely in a detachment era where it's like your mental is drifting off and your mental is drifting off from the responsibilities that are no longer your responsibilities nor your obligations. Oh my goodness, a big confirmation. So Spirit said, do your damnness, do your best. Don't release the pressure. Don't release the pressure. I was going to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. That's what we need to learn to let go of. We need to halt ourselves, caution ourselves from telling anyone, don't do this, don't do that, because ultimately, don't does not have as much power as we give it. As don't does not have as much authority as we perceive it to have. All right. So the best you can do is halt and caution yourself from telling someone what not to do. Now you can tell them what not to do when it comes around and fucking around and playing with you. All right. But when it comes down to their choices in their lives, and this is with everything that you are finding yourself changing and readjusting from, that you are no longer about, that you no longer resonate with. When expressing don't, it's not helpful because you're damn near saying truth or dare. You want a challenge? Well, let me tell you, don't do something. Let me see if you're going to let me control you. No, caution yourself. Lay out your rules and let that be it, and see who's willing to follow, see who's willing to adjust, see who's willing to manage the space that is yours with respect and not becoming a liability for you to have to handle because they chose to prefer to mishandle your rights. All right, let's move forward. Okay, so we got to okay, all right, all right, what's this about? Can we have one more for this? Body, performer, and parent. Yep. Spirit said you are not putting on a performance. Be you. Be you. Quit expecting for people and others to fully comprehend who you are, what you're about. Show what you know. If you know that you're about it, show it. Okay, that was very simple. Yep. And at the bottom, ooh, honey, at the bottom we have one night stand. Do we need to pull out any gibberish? Maybe we'll just do a round. All right, so we have powerful man and one night stand hugging this energy. Ain't it something sweet? Okay, sweet. It is so sweet. Oh, let me calm myself down a bit. So you are not a comedian. And if you are, hey, love you much. Keep the jokes coming, okay? We need them right now. We need that humor in the world right now, okay? But just make sure. Well, I'm saying I would appreciate if your humor is educational because yeah, you get it. You got it good. All right. So we have one night stand and powerful man hugging this energy, saying, "Hey, all you got is one shot, one shot. So don't be so repetitive." With this parrot here, don't be so repetitive telling someone, hey, didn't I tell you I don't like vanilla ice cream? Didn't I tell you I don't like vanilla ice cream? Didn't I tell you? No, get whatever you prefer, you go get it. Refuse yourself from the expectation of feeling that because you told somebody something, that is supposed to be important to them and that it's going to matter to them. Yes, I know. If they love me, they would care. If they respect me, they would care. Exactly. So you're telling yourself all the things that you already know. If they loved you, they would care. If it mattered to them, they would care. And some people just don't have the time. And something you have to understand, just like you have your own brain and your mind just be drifting off into whatever your category of lands may be, theirs does the same thing. So if they want you to be heard and they made that time for you, you will be heard. You will be understood. You will not come to be collateral damage. They will not perform to be collateral damage. Right? So behind here, Spirit says, soothe yourself of the expectations of others. Pay attention and mind your own fucking business about your internal compass. What's for you is for you. And I have this message that I'm going to definitely extend for a different read. I really want to dive into this. I'm curious about it. One day, hopefully today, soon. So for instance, women and men relationships. Women and men relationships. Men and women relationships. Let's dive into it. Spirit said now a little bit. Okay, just a touch of love a little bit. I have come to the understanding that a lot of us have been getting into relationships with the opposite genders, and especially for women. Especially for women, we are raised to be so obedient to the male structure due to patriarchy and due to all these other archies, right? um, we have been conditioned for it. But the amazing thing that I have realized is that men want women, but they don't know anything about them other than how to manipulate them. So yeah, you would think because they know how to manipulate them that they know a lot about them. They don't. They don't know how to actually care for a woman. They don't know the structure of a woman. And the best way that I could put this in example for men who are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Think about a car. When women, or I'm sorry, back in the day, let's go back in the day further because I know women have elevated their mental understanding and comprehension of things so much since the 90s and since the 80s and the 70s, okay? And I'll speak about myself personally. Me personally, I don't know much about cars. I can tell you that, if one part of a car mess up, then there's probably like 10 other parts that's going to need to be repaired as well due to that one piece, right? But I have so much over the past 15 years been the type of woman that you give me a car, I know how to put gas in it, I know how to drive it. That's it. I know how to caution myself as I drive because I am a very cautious driver and I know that I'm a wonderful driver. But just because I'm a wonderful driver does not mean everyone who's on the road with me is a cautious driver or gives a damn that I'm even on the road, right? So I'm a cautious driver, meaning I pay attention to my surroundings, but I'm a wonderful driver. The reason why I bring this up is I know nothing about cars, though I want to drive a car, though I know how to utilize a car, but I know nothing about cars. I know the word gasket. I don't know what the hell is that. I don't know what it does. I know muffler. I just found out where the hell that is. And I also know that the muffler is the part of the car that if it gets a hole up in it or is messed up, that is the reason why most people's cars is making a lot of noise. But anything beyond my own personal interest of a car getting from point A to B and back, I don't know anything else about it. So I'm using this car example, old school example. You know, everything is a car. Old school example to say that men, and this is not an attack, but this is a point of awareness. Men want a woman. Men like women, but they don't know about the healthcare needs. They don't know about a woman's moods. They don't know that a woman has the right to have anger as an emotion. They don't see a woman as a human. They see a woman as a point A to point B and back around again. All right. So let's jump back into this message. So there's a lot of things coming to an end as far as old ways of thinking in regards to you. All right. We can't speak for the rest of the world. Okay. Do you hear how desperate my voice is? We can't speak for the rest of the world. All we can do is pray over it and then continue to mind our own damn business. Make sure that we watch out for those loopholes and don't fall through them. All right. So let me get these next cards out and I'll be right back. You know what? This is getting so juicy. I got a sweet tooth, honey. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm laying them around. I'm just shaking my head and the uhs that's coming through, honey. Honey, 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 honey. Okay. Yep. And then we have travel as the overall energy, right? There are moves that are being made, and there has been this false narrative around you're realizing all the false narratives that have been pointed out about the structures of life. And not just the structures of life, but the structure of yourself. Honey. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. That I want you back with concern and awakening, honey. They want you back and they are fucking concerned. They want you back in that mental mind state and mentality that you once used to be in, because you were so much fun when a rabbit didn't have a gun, when you didn't have a pew chitty chitty bang bang. Okay, when you didn't have it, when you didn't have different things in your ammunition, being the magician that you are for yourself, you were so much fun because you did not hold people accountable. You did not hold people responsible. You did not just disappear on people the way that you're doing now. You didn't say, I said what I said and I meant it and left it at that, right? You used to give that 12 time go around conversation of, no, let me explain to you further what I meant. No, I don't think you understood me. No, let me draw out the picture for you. No, oh my goodness. Child is triggering me a little bit. I remember when I was working at McDonald's, whoop whoop. When I was working at McDonald's, I had this manager. She was so frustrated about the fact that it was rush, like it was the rush hour or whatever you want to call it. That morning, there it is, that morning rush.